I'm hitting the button.
Don't hit the button yet, god damn it.
Why not?
Because I was curious what we were talking about, and I wanted to make sure I got everything up and prepped if that's what we were going to do.
Oh, well, yeah, yes, that's
okay.
what we're talking.
Sure,
yes, that's
all
what
right.
we're talking about.
So are we pulling the curtain back in? Is that what's going on?
Well, Brandon,
yeah.
we have reached a podcasting milestone. So we've done the Libsyn thing. We've switched hosts, which happens in every podcast life, and now we lost an episode. we lost an episode. Technically, we didn't lose it. We just didn't record it, and technically, it's not we, it's me. I didn't record it last week for some reason. So let's be clear. That's not actually what happened. What happened is Jamie and I sat down and we talked about the Masons, and we talked about their history and how they've been influencing America and where the start of this virus actually came from, and the laying out of the Masonic temples, and what sort of secret society that a bunch of white guys who insist on dressing in tuxedos to all have dinner together on a Tuesday, what sort of good they'll be doing. And in turn, what actually happened is they actually reached into the internet and they snagged Jamie's side of the podcast. And I know you're going, why did they only snag Jamie's side of the podcast? Well, you see, I am a bearded white guy, and the Masons have no power over me. Like, that's just good science. I don't know what to tell you. I can neither confirm nor deny what my co-host has said. I have to Glomar the Glomar exception in FOIA. So.
Yeah, your mind tricks are no good for me, Jedi. They don't work. I'm not afraid of you. Yeah, I'm not afraid of you. It's fine.
I'm not afraid of you. So I feel like the last step in us becoming. Oh, we've also joined a network, so that's another step to becoming a true podcast, like graduating from podcast school.
Matter of fact, we didn't even have to do what most people do, which is make up a network to join a network.
Right. So the final step to reach our final Super Saiyan podcast form is to get a sponsorship by MeUndies.
Oh, MeUndies. You know, when I'm thinking about how our podcast got stolen by a bunch of other bearded white guys wearing tuxedos, I wonder, are their underwear just as dapper? And, you know, I wouldn't be asking that question if I knew that they were wearing MeUndies. See, MeUndies, unlike other underwear company, they cradle and support packages. Like, I know right now we are going through a crisis. We are worried about the United States Postal Service. They deliver more packages, including MeUndies.com, than anyone else. And if you're talking about package management, you're talking about MeUndies. That's how I know. Now, Jamie, you and I already understand. But if, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to MeUndies.com, you fill out your order, you go up in the top right-hand corner and you type NOC as in Nerds of Color, you will get absolutely nothing. And I think you need to ask yourself the question, why don't you get anything by typing that into that box? Then I want you to go down to the bottom of the page to the contact forum. And I want you to pop that bad boy up. And don't pretend like you don't have that kind of time. You and I both know you got that kind of time right now.
Yeah,
and I want you to write a sternly worded letter. Dear recipient of this email, how dare you not give the Nerds of Color some sort of discount? Do our balls not chafe like others? Do we not get crotch rot like everyone else? Do we not need the loving support that MeUndies could bring us? But nay, I can't get a discount supporting my favorite podcast network.
Yeah. And that's really why we're here. We're here for the network. We're here to spread the network love. So if you sponsor us, you should sponsor the entire network, because you're going to get quality programming plus us.
Yeah, I mean, right. And honestly, if I took a dime, my unemployment that's probably never going to come won't come. I can't take that kind of money. I can't take that risk. It's got to go to the network. We got to pay these bills, man. Lights don't keep themselves on.
It's true.
You got to go into debt to keep these on. That's how this works.
It's true. It's true. That's the true survivor of COVID-19. It's crippling debt.
Yeah,
existential dread, crippling debt, and what's the third horseman of the apocalypse? Or the third four, I don't know. I guess Jeff Bezos is like one of them.
Early onset diabetes is what it is, Jamie. And luckily with all of us inside cooking more and making all of the bread. I have seen more people make sourdough, which I don't know if that means I have too many white people in my feed or if just there are that many fucking people making sourdough.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, there's a lot of bread happening right now.
So apparently to do sourdough properly, you need a quote-unquote sourdough starter, and it's like a bread Tamagotchi. If you don't feed it correctly at the right time, it will die, and you will not get sourdough. You will get like a lumpy piece of nothing. So you have to set an alarm, bro. You need to set an alarm to wake up in the middle of the night to feed your sourdough starter. Otherwise, it will die.
This makes a ton of sense. So you and I are foodies and we love the stories of food and what have you.
Yes.
If you get the opportunity, and I recommend this to anybody who's looking for some sort of like just kill time through everything going on right now. It's been out forever. Anthony Bourdain's first book, Kitchen Confidential. He does an audiobook version where he reads it himself and he talks about a guy that he hired who makes the best bread ever. The guy was a total flake and he would call Bourdain at like 3 o'clock in the morning shouting into the phone, "You got to feed the bitch. You got to feed the bitch. It's going to die. You got to feed the bitch." And I knew that what I had to do was get up in the dark, put on pants, and drag myself down to the restaurant to go feed this starter so this way we could have bread because he was too strung out to show up the next day. Ironically, one guy who is a junkie asking another guy who at the time was a junkie who just had it more together to feed this bitch and putting him in a rough situation. God damn.
Yeah, I've seen the starters and they look monstrous, and I mean they make great bread. It makes great bread, whatever is in the sourdough starter, but like the care and feeding of it, it's like a Hogwarts journey. Like you have to, it's a mystical beast, and you have to find it and care for it, and just like
fuck it. You know, I'm good with this because all that means is one of two. Well, I'm technically good with this. If it means that you all aren't having kids while this is going on, I'm good. Like I don't need any children to quarantine. Is what I don't. Nobody needs it. I didn't come up with that for the record, but
it's so good. Fucking claim it. I don't care. That's awesome.
Nobody needs that. Like, I don't need to have to do the math where we come to find out that like suddenly everybody is just spending all this time indoors fucking. Like, yeah. I assume all this thing is really doing is teaching us all valuable survival skills, making us absolutely realize that therapy is mandatory when all this is over. And if you are in a bad relationship, boy, howdy, are you going to find the door the second they... Now, remember this, kids. This is coming from me, all right? Don't dump them yet. There's going to be a resurgence, and you're going to get stuck inside with them after you said you want out.
Yeah. Unless...
You got to wait. You got to wait.
Unless
wait it out.
Unless you're really good with housing, unless you have a backup housing, because they won't, so they'll be stuck.
Right. And this is the problem though is they won't be able to find a way out, and they can't go anywhere else.
Yeah,
nobody's letting anybody else in right now.
Yeah, so you need you either need a parent's basement or something like that, or like
you got to have a fallback. Like there's got to be some sort of fallback.
Yeah. That's a good point. I imagine there are a lot of Pornhub accounts starting during this time, and I imagine there are a lot of OnlyFans starting up in this era because it's like got nowhere else to go. if
just as a reminder, kids, If you set up an OnlyFans page, that will fuck up your unemployment. Know this.
Oh, that's true. Right. Because it's not a cash transaction that'll show up in someone's record.
Then you're technically self-employed.
Yeah.
So bear that in mind, kids.
So if you do it, make sure you have a fan base. Because if you do it just to do it, and you get like a couple of bucks here and there, it's not really worth it. So if you're going to do it, make sure that you're known in the community and people want to see your bits and stuff. And, because there's money in them Dar Hills, but you have to have a community first. So build that community.
See, this is why people keep coming back. We're educational.
Right.
We're educational.
Yeah. We're an educational podcast.
Yeah, we're an educational podcast. Yeah.
All right, Brandon. Well,
it's us and Pod Save America is really what it is.
Yeah. After you hear the doom and gloom about everything else, you can come to us for career advice.
Nonsense. It's not doom and gloom. I'm trying to help people out, and I'm still reminding everybody, MeUndies.com, also code NOC. But speaking of NOC, Jamie Noguchi, tell them who we are and where we fucking come from. Lay it on them.
People of the world, welcome to the Fucking Do It podcast. We are part of the Hard Knock Media Podcasting Network. That's NOC, Nerds of Color. You see the banner up top. You see the banner below. If you're watching this on YouTube or Facebook, you can join us on Podbean, where you can rate us. And if you rate us, we get higher in the whatever hoopadoo. I don't actually check the stats because I used to do webcomics, and checking the stats is terrible. It's a terrible habit. Something you cannot. It's like reading the comments. Never read the comments. I'm finding that I'm going to have to dial that down because our book is coming out, and a handful of reviews have started to creep out, and I'm reading things, and I'm reading too much into things, so I shouldn't do that. So never read the comments. Never read the comments. Never read the comments. But speaking of comments, before we begin our festivities tonight, Brandon Chalmers, we have email. We got a message from somebody back in April 27th, which tells you how often I check the email. I will be better about it from now on. So if you email us at info@fuckingdoitcast.com, I will answer it within the week because I will be checking it at least weekly, at the very least weekly.
We promise, and this is a Fucking Do It Cast guarantee. We will respond within 30 days.
Yeah, we have net
30 days.
Net 30 to respond to your email.
30 days.
But it's early in our life as a podcast, so if you want to get your email on the air, I will read it. I do not care what you say. I will read whatever the fuck it is.
Wow, that's dangerous. All right, cool.
We reserve the right to Joan on you, but I will read whatever the fuck you send. So this email comes to us from Ray back in April 27th. I have no idea what we were talking about at the time.
Okay.
But let's see. They were thinking of a social distance potluck. So was thinking of a social distance potluck, kind of like a trunk or treat. A central table is set up in a parking lot, then sanitized. Each family drops their dish on the table, sanitizes the container, then steps away. When the table is set, first group gloves up and brings their own Tupperware and serves themselves, sanitizes the serving utensils as they're on their way down the line. Return to your car and eat. P.S. Yes, quarantine is getting to me. And this is from friend Ray.
Okay. So is the idea a pro con? Are we trying to troubleshoot this? How do you want to approach this?
Well, I like the idea, and I've seen people in the neighborhood doing something similar in their driveways. Like I've seen people pulling up in the driveway, just opening the trunk and talking to each other from inside their cars. I've seen kids across the street from each other on their laptops, emailing each other and yelling at each other and stuff like that. So I think
fair enough.
I think the social distance potluck is the next evolution of that. And we've got an empty parking lot here at the pool across the street, and we've seen some people actually doing that. We've seen like yesterday or maybe over the weekend, we saw a group of high school kids just tailgating in the pool parking lot, hanging out with each other, playing music and stuff, but staying in their cars, staying in their trunks because they couldn't actually hang out with each other.
Right.
But I don't know. What do you think?
So the idea of, let's say you're a car club and you decide to stay in your vehicle and you decide to go out for a drive together or for a cruise together or whatever it is, or to go sit in a parking lot somewhere, 6 feet apart from each other's driver's doors or whatever it is, maintaining social distancing and hanging out. Yeah, I guess. I'm concerned about a couple things. One, no cold dishes.
Ooh, yeah.
Which creates a problem during the summer.
Yeah.
So that would be my first thought process. My second thought process is you have to really know and trust whoever you bring to this thing. Because you get one person who's a little laxed on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like a bad oyster.
Yeah.
It could break bad like that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where my thought process is. If you are jonesing to spend time with other people that way or enjoy things that maybe you're not necessarily making or whatever, my suggestion would be do a food drop-off.
Mm-hmm.
Make it, put it into Tupperware, drop it off at a friend's house, let them disinfect the outside of the package, and then reheat instructions. And then they can wash the thing in the washing machine, boil hot water, disinfectant soap, what have you, be able to take care of the package, and then they can reserve it back to you. And you almost make it like a mixtape of food.
Nice.
Where you and a friend just kind of exchange recipes or whatever it is, and you can meet over Zoom calls.
Yeah.
You get a chance to do that sort of thing. I'm leery right now of us trying to be like, you know what this feels like? These things were like, it's this trunk or treat sort of thing, or like this social distance hangout sort of thing. Mm-hmm. It really does feel like when you're two teenagers who are really religious, who are like, we're not actually having sex. Like,
yeah.
We can all kind of be like, yeah, we're fooling God, boy howdy are we. But like this feels like we're trying to outsmart a virus.
Yeah.
And I got to be honest with you, I don't trust us cohesively to outsmart a virus.
Right. I think it might work if you limit the number of people you do it with. Like if you have, maybe two groups of friends or two friends that you do it with. So but still like staying very far the fuck away from each other.
My suggestion would be similar to what those teenagers did. You all want to meet in a separate place that is a park or something like that.
Yeah.
You want to set up blankets that are 6 to 8 feet apart from each other because y'all are going to be moving around. So don't do that exactly 6 feet shit.
Right.
Stop trying to outsmart a
8
virus.
to 12.
Right. Bring your own food and just hang out with somebody in a general vicinity.
Yeah, that's better.
You don't
better.
need to exchange food.
Yeah.
Like this is the thing is right now you should be smart. Like everybody's getting real like, hey, we can get out. Don't overdo that shit. Like, and please understand, I am the sort of guy where I will close large wounds with duct tape or super glue. I am a firm believer of walking it off and rubbing some dirt on it.
Yeah.
This is a different thing.
Yeah.
Don't play around. Like,
Yeah.
what do you have to gain by playing around? And if you have a recipe for something really good, cool. Either make extra and give it to them or drop it off later on and do that procedure like I mentioned, or send someone else the recipe, tell them where to get the stuff, and let them make it.
Yeah.
Like, there are some friends that I have who were like, they'd hop on a Zoom call together and they would make the same dinner together. Like,
that's a great
they would
idea.
hang out and they would make like chicken parm together, and they would, thin out the chicken breasts and create the things. And if one of them knew kind of like, right, and like if one knew a technique more than the other, but the idea is essentially you have the same shopping list, you're in different parts of the state or country or what have you, and you go, okay, so you're going to need, 1 pack of chicken breast, you're going to need this, you're going to need this, you're going to need this, you're going to need this. Make sure you have all of it. When I do it, I use, 1 large bowl for this, 1 tray for this, and just basically prep like you would be prepping for a meal. And then talk with the friend and then make dinner together. Like, you can teach someone how to cook that way.
That would be fun, instead of like listening to a podcast that's just going to make you sad, or like watching some shit. You could be like talking with somebody while you're cooking stuff. Yeah. That's the best part of like a barbecue, is hanging out with somebody while they're cooking stuff.
Right.
You can sort of do the same thing on a Zoom. And if
you can totally do the same thing.
And then if you want to be extra, once you're done with the meal, you could drive to a parking lot and like wave at each other through the trunks and stuff.
Reasonably at that point, you can BS make the meal together and then decide either that the hangout time there was really good and you and whoever else in your house can have the dinner together, or you can sit down, you and your significant other, someone else and their significant other can all sit down with the laptop on the table and set it at one of the places at the table.
Yeah.
And face it toward the family and let them eat with you.
Yeah.
And just have a meal together. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. Like, here's the thing. I think you should start really treating this sort of thing like a grandma who you love something fierce, but you had to move away because of a great job. So you got to try and figure out creative ways to hang out with grandma.
Yeah.
Like, you got to come up with creative ways to do it. So grandma sends you, hey, sweetie, I really want to bake cookies. And you could be like, well, hell, grandma, send me the recipe. Let's bake cookies together. Well, you want to set the oven to this. You want to do this. You want to grease this. Like, turn this into an opportunity where you get to find out what others' skills are. Like, music over Zoom calls is a little difficult because the things tend to drown each other out as they're doing things or whatever it is. But you could do art night over Zoom calls. You can do cooking. You can hang out and just have a drink and just BS with each other. You can start a podcast. Like, just find an excuse to talk to each other about everything. Just come up with an article about something and literally just schedule some time with your friends.
Yeah.
Because all you guys are going to want to talk about is this sort of thing. You got to start kicking other things around. Find a reason to talk about something else. But again, don't try and outsmart God with your hand job. Okay? You hear me?
Shit.
You're not going to outsmart God with your hand job. So either you want to be completely celibate or you don't.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah.
Hey, until we know God's like, fucking take it home, Junior. Don't. Yeah. Like, why worry? Why have a pregnancy scare? Because if I had to take a guess, Jamie, I'm gonna do an over-under, and I'm gonna guess that most of the listeners to this podcast are semi-responsible to responsible adults who are sexually active, who have been in a situation where they have had sex and either they chose not to use protection broke, whatever happened, things got a little wild, who knows, and they had that panic moment. And you had to go get that pregnancy test. And you got to have that real gut check moment. Depending on how young you are, boy, howdy, is that a gut check moment.
Yeah.
And you start doing all sorts of things. You're questioning the longevity of your relationship with this person. You're starting to learn a whole lot about yourself. You're learning a whole lot about this other person. You're having conversations that you didn't think you were ready to have, and you probably weren't ready to have. You know, you're trying to basically like, okay, are we doing this? Do we not have this conversation? Are we having this?
Yeah.
Why set yourself up for that scenario right now?
That's true.
If you're not ready to have a kid, and you know you don't have to, why worry about it? Mm-hmm. Why set yourself up?
Yeah.
You don't have to get sick right now. You're not forced to have this interaction. This isn't the same thing as, here's the other thing also. If you are friends with someone who is an essential employee, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry to put it this way, don't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
These people may be asymptomatic and could be interacting with society and doing the best they can, but genuinely could be spreading it and not realizing it. And just because they don't have symptoms doesn't mean that they couldn't be getting you sick. And it's not your fault. But I couldn't imagine being a friend of somebody and hanging out and then finding out that, like, after the fact, I had it, I'm asymptomatic, and I hung out with a bunch of these friends and we got a little, jokey around or whatever it is, and they ended up getting it. And God forbid they got very sick or worse.
Yeah.
So for right now, chill out with your potlucks. Chill out with your tailgatings. Chill out with that stuff. Try and find creative ways to do it. Like, if you're going to do it, distance. You care about these people. Jesus Christ. If you don't care about the other person in the grocery store you don't fucking know, fine.
Right.
Walk in the aisle a little too close. Cough in their direction. Fuck it. I don't know what to tell you. I can't undo you being an asshole. What I can do is recommend that you don't hurt the people you genuinely care about. If you're trying to have a meal with this person right now, you care about them. You want to see them. You miss them.
Yeah.
Act as if you could genuinely hurt them. And act accordingly. Figure out a better way.
Yeah. Most definitely.
Like, your potato salad ain't that fucking good, Deborah. It's not.
No, it's not.
I don't need that.
I've never had a potato salad good enough to give someone a disease. Like, I've never had a potato salad so good that I thought to myself, well, if everyone dies, at least I have had this potato salad.
Right.
Not
right.
Well, I think we answered the question.
And then some.
So if you would like other thoughts on other topics and you have ideas, send us an email and we will spend a half hour talking about it and extend this podcast as long as we fucking can to make up for missing it. That's how we roll.
I can't help myself. I'm sorry. You got to put a shot clock over.
I don't give a shit.
Like
I don't give a shit. You think I give a shit?
Brandon Chalmers. I think I just found gold, though. It's all right. Yeah. Like, don't try and trick God with your hand job.
No.
Might be the new way to handle all of this. That's if you are friends with me on social media and you see me putting that in the comments, that is going to happen 100%.
Nice. Well, Brandon, besides not tricking Jesus with a hand job, what have you been geeking upon since last we recorded this?
Since last we recorded this, actually, I've been doing my best to try and break through my depression. I'm flat saying. I'm sure I'm not the only one, obviously, who's dealing with it. And you get good days and bad days, and man, have I learned I am very much a house plant. I need daylight in the worst kind of way. Yeah. So I have been forcing myself to go out and work in the garden. Now, because my house was built in 1947, I live in a brick row home style house, and because of that,
is it mighty? Is your brick house mighty?
No, it's actually reasonably small.
Like, it's actually hang out?
No, it. Thank God it doesn't. Like, genuinely. Because I don't know if you realize that is the best song about demolition, period. Because the follow-up is what? Shake it down, shake it down, shake it down, shake it down now?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Nobody, I don't want that in my brick house. That's why I want to keep it mighty. Right.
Matter.
So, in turn, what that means is that I've had 70 plus years of people making decisions about the landscaping and what have you. And the interior is, I got no real fight there. Those are projects or what have you. But like over the years, I have done a couple projects. What I haven't actually done is torn out a lot of the overgrowth that's happened over the years. And I'm going to put it out there in no uncertain terms. If I ever visit anywhere and I discover that you lived in my home or next to my home, and you planted ivy in that general vicinity, I am going to punch you in the fucking face. So if you find out your grandma was my next door neighbor and she just loved the look of ivy on brick, I'm going to punch that lady in the mush. Like, please know this. Because I have been on my hands and knees just pulling ivy out of the ground, just tracing it back, just hand digging it out.
That is the worst puzzle.
Like, Jamie, I have been doing some of the whitest shit. I have been hanging out in a brick row home pulling ivy out of azaleas. Like, seriously, it's a honky turducken of activities is what it is. Like, genuinely, I need to be wearing overalls. No, because I don't have any fucking money for gin. God damn it. No. It's a different argument. But honestly, other than a straw hat, some fucking overalls, and Pat Boone on the Victrola, like, I couldn't get much whiter.
Wabba-luba.
God. Like, I heard you say that, and I suddenly got fear in my heart because I'm like, did he cover that, or did somebody make that better?
No, Pat Boone covered Tutti Frutti.
Oh,
and Little Richard used to tell a story of, like, he knew about white kids who would have the record cover of the Pat Boone version, but inside the sleeve, it was Little Richard's version.
Thank
because people were so afraid of black music back then.
Okay.
And Pat Boone made his career covering black artists and whitening it up and shit. So
I knew that part. I think part of my brain had blocked out that particular cover.
Oh yeah.
Because Okay. 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 Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, so
you were suns out, guns out on this ivy.
Yeah, I have been suns out, guns out. I have been actually tanning. I'm actually much darker than I have been. Like, I think there's actually a tan mark. There you go. Nice. So that gives you an idea of how pasty I normally am and how pasty I've become.
Oh yeah.
So, but the sunlight's been really good, and I've got to the point now where we got another couple days of sunlight.
Yeah.
So
it's been okay.
I'm going to try and just spend at least 4 to 5 hours just outside. Fresh air. God forbid, fuck my allergies. I haven't been able to breathe and my eyes have been on fire. I don't care. I want the daylight. I need the daylight.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what I've been geeking out about, is just getting outdoors. And genuinely, I cannot recommend it enough to everyone. Seriously, take your laptop outside. If you live in an apartment, sit on the balcony. Just get some fucking daylight, please. Yeah. I am aware now that I could not handle living in Alaska or Antarctica in Ice Station Zulu.
England.
I couldn't. I don't know. They do have an 80% unemployment guarantee payoff of everything and nationalized health care. So, maybe a gloomy day from time to time might be a halfway decent trade-off.
Oh, Scotland. Does Scotland count?
Hey!
Scotland counts.
Yeah. Scotland counts.
Does Ireland still count?
I think half of Ireland counts. But either way, fuck it. Honest, fuck it. Anyway, yeah. I don't want to get super political. Anyway, Jamie, what have you been geeking about?
She-Ra.
Oh!
The last season of She-Ra has dropped, so now you can binge. I think it's all 5 seasons. All 5 seasons of She-Ra. You will not find me saying a bad word about the show in public because we know people involved with it. Like the person who brought the show back from the dead, Noelle Stevenson. She was an art fighter at one point. We interacted with her at an art fight on this side. We went out to LA. She hung out with us out there. So I am biased as hell. Zara,
yes, 100%.
Zara, one of our friends, is the voice of Mara, who was like proto She-Ra, the original She-Ra, one of the original She-Ras.
Okay.
And her version, it's a brown She-Ra, just like Zara, which is fucking cool. So like,
that's rad.
I will be gushing about this show for a long time because it's awesome. But also, we get to watch it with Hazel, which is great. Like having this awesome animation that we can share with our daughter that isn't like super kiddie and super cheesy and super like saccharine and sweet and adorable. That deals with feelings and emotions and problems and stuff. Like,
yeah,
it's really good. So if you like feelings and you like cartoons, you should watch it. It's real good.
Good to know.
This season is very emotional. There's like a lot of gut-wrenching moments and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, I like it. It's way better than the original show. And y'all are forgetting how bad the original show was. It were not good.
A lot of those 80s shows were real bad.
It were not good. He-Man were not real good. And She-Ra.
Fucking Thundercats other than Panthro.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
Cheetar is pretty rad.
Yeah,
but,
so like, yeah. I mean, the fact that they're doing new things with these old properties is fine by me. Like, I don't give a shit.
Bring it on.
If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. But I find She-Ra is great. My favorite part about it is there's a lot of lore. Like Noelle went deep and started digging through ideas and just expanding the world and stuff. And I realized I like lore. That's why I liked Frozen 2 better than the first Frozen, is because they expand the lore and the mysticism and the background of like the magic and all that kind of stuff. And so they do the same. And
that makes sense.
So she's done the same thing with She-Ra, and I'm like, interesting, more stuff to like ponder and make fan arts of and stuff. If I ever get back to making fan arts of anything, but you know. But yes, highly recommend She-Ra. You should watch it.
Nice, cool, awesome. All right, so do we want to do the conspiracy corner, or do you want to hold off until next week for that and we tear into the main topic?
I think I want to revamp the conspiracy corner. I have a better one for next week because the one we had for the kickoff was but I have a better one for it. I have a better one for it that deals with food. So we'll do that next week. So next week we will be debuting a new segment on the podcast, Conspiracy Corner. We will tease it there. We're coming up with wild ass conspiracies that are completely true, that you will have heard first here on the fucking Duocast.
Completely true.
Completely true. But what we are going to be talking about this week. So last week, Brandon was geeking on the Clone Wars and Star Wars in general. And when you talk about Clone Wars, you automatically think of the prequels because they occur at the same time. And so Brandon did a lot of work recasting the prequels. Now, he didn't just pick out favorite actors of any era because that's easy. No. Friend Brandon Chalmers actually did homework for the podcast.
Yeah. So please understand, if I had my capabilities and I had my druthers, I'd cast Idris Elba as everything. I would genuinely have him cast like Eddie Murphy in an early 2000s comedy where I would just have him play every single character.
Oh my god.
Every one of them.
Idris as Padme. Like, oh, Annie. Whoa.
And now, please understand, much like my theory of put a Wookiee in absolutely anything, and kids, if you don't know, I want to put a Wookiee in everything. Take every single role that Tom Cruise has ever had, ever, and I want to put your friend and mine, Chewbacca, in that role. Not mention that he's a Wookiee. Not mention that he cannot speak English, and have him deliver every line in the exact cadence of Tom Cruise and see if it's actually worse, because I don't think it's going to be. I think every single one of them would be better.
So
just Cocktail, Risky Business, Top Gun, Jerry Maguire, Mission Impossible.
Yeah. So
right. And here's the thing. Like I said, just literally just the Mission Impossible thing where he's fucking like sliding down on the wire and everything else like that. Wookiee. And just full suit. Right. Yeah. Yeah. Full
legend,
suit.
Legend. Wookiee and Legend.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Fucking finally we could fix The Last Samurai.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Watanabe and Chewie.
Right. How good would that be?
So Brandon, I think we lost that to last week.
We did.
But you have been
I had to mention it.
You have been doing the Maymoa challenge pretty regularly. And now,
yeah, I have slacked the last couple of days. I got to get back on it.
But in the month of June, friend Brandon Chalmers, you know someone who has access to the Creative Cloud.
Yes, I do have access to Photoshop. Yes,
and
I know.
You know, you've been wanting to learn Photoshop, and I can think of no better way than
no other way. No, you got it right. No other way. There's no other way.
There's no other way of learning how to cut out Chewie from a photo and replacing him in something else. So I don't give a shit if it's every day, if it's once a week or once a month, but I need to see Chewie movie posters. I need to see him in movie posters.
Yeah.
Replacing at least one of the characters.
Yeah, at least one of them. Yeah, so that's
what I need. It's what I need, Brandon Chalmers.
So anyway, so the theory is I have gone on record about this, and you can call me trash if you'd like. You wouldn't be the first. I am a prequels apologist. I think that they're not nearly as bad as everyone works them out to be. Yeah, whatever. Fucking Jedi sucks. All right? I'm going to go on record as saying it. Jedi sucks. So fucking fight me. All right?
Would have been better with Wookiees instead of Ewoks.
Right, because here's the thing is, reasonably, I think there's only one Star Wars film you can't really complain about, and it's fucking Empire. Every other Star Wars film, some ass clown crawls out of the woodwork and has a fucking meltdown like it's the end of their childhood. So fuck off with all of that. So because of that, I am a firm believer that part of the problem with episode 1, 2, and 3 is that they were casting correctly.
Yes. Yeah.
I think that some casting would totally not only solve some of the problems of the cast, but it would change the tone of the movie and could fix genuinely a lot, if not all, of the blatant racism that happens in those movies with the way that those characters are heavy-handedly created.
God.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And this is the problem is, like, I don't want to blame, like, I don't want to blame the story per se. I think that if you hear me out and you follow through with me here, I can do this and we're all going to be happy with it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I wonder how, because I've watched all of the documentaries. Like I had the special editions of the prequels, and I would watch the special features because that shit was fascinating to me. Like I didn't give a shit about the movies, but I loved watching the behind the scenes stuff. And it seemed to me that there was no one who had the balls to tell George no. Like when when the Trade Federation guys were speaking in pidginish Asian dialect or whatever, no one had the balls to say, "Hey, George, maybe not." And
yeah, don't do that.
yeah, like, and I wonder if that's where a lot of the problems were, because I feel like if he had people fighting him on something, I don't know, there might have been, I don't know, who knows, but we're recasting it. We're starting with the cast.
Right. This goes back to an old theory that you and I have had forever, is you always, in every single group and scenario, you need a no guy.
Yeah.
George needed a no guy.
He needed a no guy. Yeah.
He needed a no guy. Right. Anyway, okay. So I'm going to kind of do this in a somewhat order with how the characters appear on screen. So this way I can kind of give people a narrative. I'm going to start with episode 1, obviously. So we've got kind of opening scene. We see Jedi. They're on the ship of the Trade Federation. And
go up the ventilation shaft.
Right. So, and they do the thing that blew my mind as a child, that fucking lightsaber, the double lightsabers into the door and melting the door. And then, yeah, because up until that point, my brain had not wrapped its head around the idea that the lightsaber is the greatest lockpick ever.
Oh, yes. You keep going.
Right. So, what are you doing? He's just disappearing. Is he going to go pee? Are we just going to sit here and wait for him to go pee? Is that what we're going to do? So for those of you who are listening to this instead of watching this, Jamie just steps away. Hey, you all right? He goes and gets a lightsaber. Classy. So anyway. You need to get a little closer to the microphone there, bro.
So good.
Anyway,
so good.
Anyway, so the opening scene, you see 2 Jedi. Now, I am a firm believer that Obi-Wan is perfectly cast.
Yeah.
I think he's perfectly cast. I think the voice is super good. And in turn, the reason I say that with confidence is it translates well into the cartoons, into the animated version.
And he's the only one having fun.
He's the only one having fun. He has this ability to kind of work both sides of it. He grows over time. He doesn't feel out of place. And he feels like a steady hand through everything. So I'm leaving Obi-Wan. Now, that leaves possibly second worst dad in all of everything shy of Goku, Qui-Gon Jinn.
Qui-Gon and not pay attention to his kid.
Okay, so now, when I talked about this before, I will go on record as saying my first choice would be Forrest Whitaker. But Forrest Whitaker, at the time, we learned after looking something up, was actually doing Ghost Dog in the same year of 99.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have been available, and I think Ghost Dog's an important thing for him to do. Also, he would have been a bit young to do that role. So
Ghost Dog was so good too, man.
I know. So then I discredited Forrest Whitaker. I do think he should have had a more long-term role. He's awesome as Saw Gerrera later in Rogue One, but I digress. So the way that I was deciding this, by the way, for anyone who's curious, I literally went back and looked to see what actors would have been available in 97, 98, and 99 when these films would have been filming and recruiting for them. So the actor I landed on, because Qui-Gon is actually rather tall, Liam Neeson is 6'3", I replaced him with Marvel favorite, yours and mine, an amazing voice and a man of tall stature and of slender-ish build, similar to Liam Neeson at the time, one Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah.
I want that deep, weird, like, kind of Germany voice hanging out there. I don't think you need 2 British guys hanging out.
No.
No. Like, there's a little part of me that loves all of the, like, British tie-in that happens with Star Wars, but it feels a little heavy-handed at this point. I get why they did it in the 70s.
Yeah.
But now you have everyone to pull from. This is a diverse universe. The idea of someone else who's with Obi-Wan having a different accent makes a lot of sense. I also think he could have delivered the lines much slower and much clearer. I think he would have set a more even-keeled tone of knowing exactly what he's doing and not grumbling his way through everything.
Yeah, because there's a flippancy to the way Liam Neeson portrays Qui-Gon that just rubs you the wrong way from like Jump Street. It's just like
it's the way he portrays every single character, and it works in some things and it really doesn't in others. So
he has a particular set of skills, and
he has a particular set of skills. Right.
He should not be a dad. He should
God
not
damn
be
it, the guy shouldn't be a dad. Anyway.
Taken?
So,
No,
Stellan
thank you.
Skarsgård. Right. Taken 2, Taken 3. Anyway.
Taken Electric
I'm getting away
Boogaloo.
from myself.
Taken Tokyo Drift.
So, meanwhile, we find, we smash cut to the Trade Federation. Now, as you talked about, Pidgin English, very clearly a heavy-handed and poorly done Asian stereotype.
Yeah.
They could have very easily shown an influence of existing culture to make people feel like they can quickly adapt and understand what is going on without doing all of this. I don't dislike the design of the Trade Federation. Yeah. I don't think I'm sure you could pick it apart, and I'm sure there are some changes that could be made to improve them.
On paper, it like from a visual standpoint, I mean, it creates they have a unique visual language with the stuff that they're doing. Right. It's also related to the rest of the series. They're kind of goofy, but they could be menacing, and then they open their mouths and speak, and you're just like,
yeah. So, my theory for this, Newt Gunray, the main guy, right? I'm going to get to him in a second. The first guy I want to talk about is a guy that I want to basically do a different version of the voices for all of the other Trade Federation guys, because Newt Gunray is going to speak to other Trade Federation people of the same alien species as himself. And the first voice I want is an Asian voice that holds gravitas, that is instantly recognizable by nerds of any ilk at the time because of a movie we call Mortal Kombat. The guy that I want, and I apologize if I butcher the name, is Kerry Hiroyuki Tagawa.
Yeah.
He played Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. He's been in a bazillion other things. He's an incredibly unique voice. He's incredibly eloquent. He's well-spoken, and he sounds menacing. And if you want to change the tone of them, boy howdy, that's it.
Yeah.
These guys are supposed to be running an entire federation of incredibly intelligent, backstabbing, capable creatures that are able to swindle Jedi and play around with everyone. And they're supposed to be basically... This guy is supposed to be jawing off with Count Dooku.
Yeah.
For the record, I'm not changing Dooku. That guy... No, it's Christopher Lee, correct?
Christopher Lee, yeah. I mean...
I'm not changing Christopher Lee. He's too goddamn smooth.
Yeah.
This is an example of a British guy I'm good with. Yeah. Keep him. He's too goddamn good to change. Anyway, see, he's going to be speaking to somebody, and I want a voice that is going to scare the shit out of people. Because the first thing that you really hear Newt Gunray say is, what? Because he finds out that the Jedi have broken out of the thing.
Yeah.
And I want it not to be a, what? In this, and then followed up by Pidgin English. I want a strong voice. And when I think of strong voices in my nerd background, I think of one voice, the voice that has been ringing through my head. And that is the voice of Goliath from Gargoyles. I want a one Keith David.
Oh, shit.
So instead of it being, what? It's what? And him shouting at people. I want his voice to rumble so deep that, like, I want there to be a little question there of whether or not Newt Gunray has the same abilities that Palpatine does, where, like, he throws that cloak back and he is just yoked, just abs on abs on abs, like, just ready to fucking hurt somebody.
God.
Like, he doesn't ask for a lightsaber. He asks for a small baseball bat.
Yeah.
Like, that's all he needs, is he's just going to fucking kneecap somebody. I want there to be that rage there. Yeah. I need that.
That rich timbre.
I need it to come just from the fucking... Yeah, it's got to come from his fucking feet. I want his shoes to rumble when he says that what. So this way, I know the Jedi are very much in trouble. Because this is the first time that we really get a chance to see the regular droids. We get to see the droidicas, or the roly ones, the ones with the shields.
Yeah.
Those are rad. Like, and they're meant to be a very serious challenge to the Jedi when they first see them.
And
so
I
think,
and because they're such a stereotype, like they're never menacing. You're never afraid of the Tread Federation because they're a fucking joke, because you can't take these people seriously.
Right.
But those two casting changes, especially with that voice, just it could be a stick figure. It could be a stick figure. It could be an untextured 3D model. It could be like a placeholder geometry. They could have forgotten to texture it, and that voice comes out of that piece of shit.
You're worried.
Because
right. That's the voice that is the voice that comes out of the Balrog, not out of anything else. And you start to become concerned about that sort of thing. Okay, so they end up on Naboo. Now, I know that when I say the word Naboo, it is immediately a trigger word for most nerds of a certain age, because immediately the next thing that comes out of your mouth is Jar Jar Binks. Now, I'd like to go on record as saying I absolutely hate the tone of Jar Jar Binks. I hate the cadence of Jar Jar Binks. I do not fault the actor for this.
Yeah.
And I think we can fix this. I think the physical actor did an excellent job of being Jar Jar. I would cast the same person to basically be a Chewbacca. It's a physical stand-in for a voice actor. And I'd argue that a guy who basically can't really get it right, he screws up and he gets thrown out of his own village for being just kind of a klutz and a bumbling idiot sometimes, with great intentions but poor execution, who gets kind of talked into doing the right thing for the wrong reasons and gets yelled at, what have you, could be a perfectly serviceable character, and has been in quite a lot of things. Hell, that guy has been the background of a ton of 80s movies, as well as most video games we've all played, where we've had to escort a character, or we've had somebody who's the bumbling idiot who we don't...
Fucking escort missions.
Right. And here's the thing. We would be fine with it if instead of Jar Jar Binks, it was actually just Joe Pesci. Tiny fuck Joe Pesci. No CG, no nothing. Just Joe Pesci. Same thing. The fuck you mean? I got kicked out of the thing. I'm not going fucking back there. Fuck you. No. We would all be like, wait, what happened?
Put him in the same costume, like those weird overalls and those doofy feet.
Nope. He is literally, he drove his Cadillac off the set of My Cousin Vinny and ended up at Cape Canaveral and landed on Naboo.
Cape Canaveral sent them to Naboo.
And just literally landed on Naboo. Like, just, I don't know how he got there. I'm not confused. And the whole thing that he explains as to why he got kicked out of the town with the rest of the Gungans, because the rest of the Gungans exactly the same. It's just Joe Pesci. It's exactly the story of My Cousin Vinny. And when he explains this to everybody, no one believes him. And he just gets thrown out. You're laughing your ass off, but I'm saying there's nothing wrong with that character. Now, let's double back. We've got Jar Jar Binks. Now, we're all okay with Joe Pesci being this character. So I think we're okay with the character. But we hate Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Because of that Misa shit. Now, when I was thinking about that voice and what's going on, I think, okay, what's a good distinct voice that I could hear through the entire time who sounds like a guy who's kind of down on his luck every time it can't catch a break? And when I think of that, I think of one man. I think of Steve Buscemi.
Oh, yeah.
Because if instead of every time Jar Jar said, Misa, you just hear Steve Buscemi go, what? And then continue on with the line exactly the way it is. Just, what? Me bada? No, No. What? I can't go back there. I got kicked out. And just continues with everything. And we continue down this rabbit hole. And suddenly, nobody finds Steve Buscemi obnoxious. At least not enough to hate a movie. And now we're all in because we're like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, kind of ratty, you know.
Kind of weird, kind of ratty. But he works, and we know he works because Monsters, Inc.
Yeah.
We know he doesn't need to physically be there to deliver a great performance, so he has the ability to follow through with this. Yeah. So my vote for Jar Jar Binks is Steve Buscemi.
I like
now,
that.
I know a lot of you are like, for fuck's sake, I know, follow along. So now we're going to end up back in the Galactic Senate. Now, at this point, you're going, well, wait, what about Padme? I've done the research. I think Natalie Portman did a perfectly great job. And you know how I know this? Okay, so you could go, well, Brandon, what about, I don't know, Keira Knightley? Keira Knightley was actually one of the people who was her double. Mm-hmm. She was in the fucking movie.
Yeah.
So they had other strong female leads that would become leading female actresses in major movies alongside of her and chose Natalie Portman. I think she's a great choice. I thought she was a great choice in The Professional. And honestly, you watch A Professional and you tell me she can't run that joint, fuck you. Like, just so.
I feel like
Natalie
she needs
Portman
someone
stays.
to work off of. Like,
she definitely needs someone to work off of, which is where we have Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The two of them would be great. Just sniping with each other and Yeah,
you know how I know this? Because they were in fucking Thor together. Where do you think I got this inspiration from?
See, people
they're literally in Thor together.
See, people dog on that first movie, and I liked her a lot in the first Thor movie. I thought she was fine. I thought she was fine.
She's fun. She's fun. She's easy to get along with. And Stellan Skarsgård totally believes in the lore and just okay. Anyway.
I cannot wait for her to be Thor. It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so exciting.
Now I know you're going, but Brandon, then you're gonna get into the Senate, and you're gonna ask the question that everyone wants to ask: who's Emperor Palpatine? And the only voice I hear in my head that works for Emperor Palpatine is Tim Curry. I will not hear any other argument. I will put my foot down. Because as we have learned, as the new Star Wars have taught us a rule that none of us are ready to wrap our heads around, but I want you to hear it now if you haven't heard it already. In 5.1 Dolby Surround Sound, Palpatine fucks. And once you wrap your head around the idea that Palpatine fucks, then you have to think about the idea that that dude, because when you see how old the kids are like Anakin's age at best, which means Palpatine fucked way into his later time.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to believe that Palpatine fucks, then I need to believe that Palpatine can seduce. Now, I would like to believe that Palpatine, the reality is, he can do Jedi mind tricks. He can probably fuck whoever he wants, but that means Palpatine's a rapist. He's a rapist.
Yeah.
And that's a whole nother layer to this fucking thing. Yeah. Oh.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Yeah. No kidding. Nobody fucking likes that. So let's pull the curtain back just a little bit, and let's stop short and let's say that Palpatine could be smooth enough to be able to fuck, because man's in charge of the Senate. Dude's got swagger, can get into any restaurant in Coruscant, has got the means to get the job done, can wine and dine anybody, can go where he pleases, full escort.
And when they talk about the dark side seducing people, that makes sense. When Anakin gets seduced by Tim fucking Curry, you say, of course.
Right, it makes sense. Like, I want to compare, and this is going out on a limb, and I know that for like the 4 people who will get this, they're gonna fucking love this. I want to equate Palpatine as Tim Curry to Al Pacino in Devil's Advocate when he's Satan.
Yes.
And he's and he's going. I want to hear Palpatine go, look, don't touch, don't taste, don't swallow. And I understand that my Al Pacino is more Tony Danza than anything else, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
But I think Tim Curry could play an amazing Palpatine.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. Fan-fucking-tastic.
Right. Like, and we know, dude knows how to work with Muppets. So he's already got the experience. He's here for this.
God.
And I know, and right. And now here's the thing that's going to be great. You're going to hear that, and suddenly the last movie gets worlds better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The prequels, all of them get better. You know the best part is? It fucking makes the scene where Vader throws Palpatine down the shaft. It makes you want them to have Tim Curry overdub the lines.
Yeah.
I want George Lucas to go back and do that redub.
God, because he could play evil, so it's not so evil. Like the guy that they got to play the Emperor, the guy that they got to play Anakin, there's no question that they're evil, so it's no surprise when they turn. But like the way Tim Curry could bring it, it was like, is he Sidious? He seems kind of, oh yeah, he's Sidious. But
hasn't he literally played Satan? I seem to remember him wearing horns and being fucking bright red.
Yeah. In aforementioned Legend.
Right. Like, so fucking Tim Curry's got he has it.
Yeah, I like that.
More importantly, he can get it.
Yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Because again, Palpatine fucks. The current one.
Because he doesn't just seduce Anakin, he seduces the entire Senate over to his side. And it's not just political wrangling, it's the presence of his charisma and his like, yeah, that's a better fucking Palpatine.
Right. Because here are your options. You can have Tim Curry, and if you go, Tim Curry's too comical, fine, Alan Rickman.
Oh shit. God damn. Oh man. Oh. See, and you believe he could seduce you too. You believe both of those two can seduce you. Like either one. I love them both. I love this. We can't have it now, but I love this.
Yeah. And like that's the thing is I fix a lot of those conversations. Now, we're going to continue along, right? So we find ourselves on Tatooine, correct?
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And we come across Watto. Now,
fucking
Watto is a real bad stare. Like we are just hip deep. We are in a cranberry bog of racism.
Yeah.
Right? Like please know this. Like we've flooded the fields to raise all the racist berries up off of their branches. So this way we can see them as far as the eye can see.
It's the worst
and
ocean
then
spray
somehow fucking eat a cranberry and tell me I'm wrong.
Cranberry flavored racism.
No, that's what cranberries taste like is racism. Nobody fucking likes cranberries. Anyway.
Shit.
Yeah, that's why craisins taste like visiting your awful uncle. Just wrinkly cranberries. It's old racism.
Damn.
Yeah. Ask yourself a real question. If you know somebody who enjoys craisins, take a good long look at them.
Oh,
anyway, so shout out. Anyway, so Watto is a monster.
Yeah,
because we talk about like Padme talks about how slavery is outlawed. Like we've managed to across a galaxy, we have all agreed that slavery is too far.
Yeah.
Right? So we are so far past the point where like that we're not having this. Slavery is too far. It's not going to happen. And Watto ignores this. And Watto has what we see are two slaves, but I find it very hard to believe that he only has two slaves because the two slaves that he has is a mother and her young child. So he's cool with having slaves, and he bargains to make sure that he keeps one slave, and he would have been fine keeping whichever one, which asks a whole litany of follow-up questions.
Yeah.
But Watto is a monster. Like, that character on paper, if you just write down who that character is, what his point is in the movie, and what his current situation is, he's a bad dude.
Yeah.
And then they seem to beat all of that stuff down with this heavy-handed Borscht Belt racism. And the only way that I can think to solve this problem is by going in a different direction. And instead of it being some sort of weird Hanna-Barbera character who just happens to be okay with human trafficking, we're going to bring in somebody who can stand verbally toe-to-toe with a Stellan Skarsgård. Because don't forget that Watto's race isn't tricked by mind tricks. He's not to be fucked with. And I want the voice of Watto to be played by Ray Liotta.
Yes.
I want that strong, heavy-handed gangster fuck it's the Joe Pesci model.
Yeah.
Without any of the funny. I want angry Ray Liotta, because the second Stellan Skarsgård just gives him the Jedi mind trick thing, and him look at him and go, "What do you think I am? Huh? You think I'm dumb? I'm Tridarian. I can't be tricked by this stuff. Knock it off with your waving your hand in front of your face like a moron. What are you doing? Stop it." Right, like, we know he can't curse, but everything's shy of that. Like, what are you, simple? Stop it. Look, we can solve this one of two ways. We can play a game of chance, or you can go away. This is your options. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Like,
stick your head in a pod racer engine and burn your fucking...
Yeah. Oh, you got to bet on the kid. Like, here, let me go through your plan with you for a half second just to find out how intelligent you Jedi are. You're going to bet your ship, your hot rod ship, and otherwise be abandoned on a giant sandbox of a planet on the racing ability of a 9-year-old at best.
Yeah, man. Oh, God. And it makes Watto seem more menacing than he does in the movie. Like, right now, you watch it and you're just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But with a Ray Liotta behind that, you're like, oh, shit.
Right.
Yeah. And you realize...
Because reasonably...
You remember that he's a fucking monster.
Right. You remember that he's a monster. You also remember that, like, everyone could be stuck here under this.
Yeah.
Like, and I know what you're thinking. I would absolutely, as one editing thing, the one thing that has really stuck in my head with Anakin's character as a child is the goddamn line of "Yippee." Yippee. I can't do it. Now, to solve this problem.
Well, wait. Another thing with Ray Liotta, like, then you get even more pissed that Qui-Gon doesn't save the rest of the slaves, because Ray Liotta as a monster, you're like, well, hold on. First of all, slavery is illegal. Second of all, Jedi are supposed to fight for justice and all that kind of shit. Third of all, what the fuck, Qui-Gon?
Yeah, take his arm off.
Yeah.
Why don't we play a game of chance? Cool. Slice. I win. You two, let's go in the truck.
Because if you made it through the first movie, Qui-Gon, you would have been a general in the army. So you're not a peacekeeping force. You're a fucking soldier.
Genuinely, and you know what? You want to make it a little fun? You want to have that little nod to everything? Don't name Anakin's mom Shmi. You name her Karen. So this way he yells like the end of Goodfellas. Karen.
Did you
can't lead me, Karen.
Did you see the supercut someone posted on Twitter of him just saying Karen, and someone was like, I can't believe they let this through because it's so racist, because it was right after that post that woman said, I believe Karen is like saying the N-word, and everyone's like, well, if you can say Karen and not the N-word, you know which one is worse, don't you? But that would be great.
Yeah. I'm super good with all of this. But yeah, so I want Ray Liotta to play Watto. I think it would be so good. Now, I mentioned young Anakin.
Yes.
And the way I'm going to solve this is I'm going to cast someone who is available and who is slightly older.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to cast Tom Felton.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I want a Malfoy in this role.
He was young too. Yeah. Like
he was just about the right age for that. He would have been the same age as the kid who played Anakin. So I think he would have been a year older. So I think that he would have had those British parents that would have said, not so much on the yippee. He could have done a excellent or henceforth.
Or
Fortnite or something.
Anything.
Yeah.
Because I've seen him in stuff post Potter, and he's got the chops. Like he's
kid's got acting chops.
He's good.
Right. So kid's got acting chops, and that blonde mane, that chiseled jaw, he's a good looking kid, and he has the ability to grow up into someone who I absolutely love, and I want him to play older Anakin, and that comes to your friend and mine. And this means, I understand the implications of this means that he won't be in the Fast and the Furious. I want Paul Walker to play Anakin.
Aww. Because
he's got that boyish smile.
He does.
And if you had that beautiful smile of him,
had you.
Yeah, I almost had you. Just looking back at Obi-Wan and going, Master, how many did you get? How many did you get? Come on.
Oh, God.
And you would immediately fall. Right. Anakin goes from being a whiny shit to genuinely a likable guy. And no one is going to question whether or not. Because we don't know. Like in this Jesus Christ allegory, we don't know how many years actually happened between the first movie and the second movie. Suddenly, Anakin's got a rat tail and he's tall. Like we don't know anything else.
Yeah.
So Paul Walker shows up and suddenly we could really believe that now Anakin's really grown and Padme has come into herself, and she was actually old enough that she has looked a little older, but not a ton older. And I can believe that Paul Walker can definitely pull down a Padme.
Oh yeah. And then it's so much more tragic when he turns, because the kid that got to play Anakin was evil from Jump Street. An evil shit from Jump Street. He was like, well, I know I'm going to be Darth Vader, so I'm a badass motherfucker. So I'm going to step on this set and I'm going to scowl because that's my only facial expression.
No. Like, it's got to be that fun kind of... He needs to be a fun surfer kid who has to be beat down over time, having things taken from him and taken from him and taken from him.
And it's so much
seeing
more
Paul
tragic.
Walker just through the tears when his mother is ravaged that way, and he has to go through and explain to Padme what he did in that moment of rage.
Yeah.
And him come to grips with what he's done and that regret. Paul Walker's got the ability to do that.
Oh, and it's a double heartbreak, because if he did this and not the Fast series, he'd probably still be here.
He may still be with us.
Because he wouldn't have done a charity ride-along thing and then got into the fuck.
Yeah. Now, what that does really mean as a byproduct of that is that James Van Der Beek probably would have played Brian in Fast and Furious.
I'm okay with that, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to wait, but it's okay.
Because it got better. It got better. It was okay, and then it got shit, and then it got better when Dwayne got in there. So,
yeah, we can figure this out.
We still get Luda. We still get Dwayne.
We still get Luda. Yeah, we still get
Luda. We still get Tej. So, I'm
honestly,
okay.
Fuck it. Frankly, if we want to just go back and just if Tyrese and James Van Der Beek want to redo Too Fast, Too Furious, just cause. Just cause. Do it.
Just cause. Yeah. And then everyone would still be alive. Oh. Now I'm sad. I think it's great though. It's great though, because you need someone you can fall in love with. You need someone you can believe that Padme will fall in love with. And that's a Walker, man. That's a Paul Walker head to toe.
Yeah. Right. That's the thing is you have to genuinely, like you said, you have to fall in love with Anakin. And none of us fall in love with Anakin because Hayden Christensen's such a shit that when he becomes Vader,
you're like,
everybody's
duh.
like, for fuck's sake, thank God.
Yeah.
Push hit you know what I'm mad about? That Obi-Wan didn't just force push him into the lava.
Yeah. I didn't teach you this yet. I'm gonna keep rolling.
Just Padme is crying. You should help him. I'll really help him. Oh no, Anakin, you're drifting away in the lava.
You're drifting. Oh no, fuck. You're a toaster.
Yeah. No, I think at that point it's a toaster strudel, but that's not the point.
You're overdone. Fuck.
Yeah. Because fuck it. Like,
you want to care about the character. And you didn't.
No, I wanted Anakin to die.
You can't.
I wanted Anakin to die. The second he started with that master, like I just no.
Padme deserves better than you.
Like that's what I'm getting at. Is like genuinely, I feel like if every time he started speaking in that movie, if I muted him and put on Papa Roach's Last Resort, I wouldn't feel any different to how I actually felt about the movie. Yeah. And then when his lines are done, I pause Papa Roach and I hit play and Obi-Wan talks. And then the second he starts speaking again, just do that old switcheroo.
Papa Roach.
Yeah.
We'll do a cut of the movie where we just swap out all of his dialogue lines.
Well, luckily, the internet's here for you. So if you ever want to watch prequels footage looped in to Linkin Park, Papa Roach, or Drowning Pool, luckily, the internet from about 14 years ago is here for you. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, buddy. Yo, yeah.
It's like anime music videos for Star Wars.
Yeah, like the thing I can't figure out is when you search those, they're uploaded like 8 years ago. Yeah. And I got to ask the question, who's demanding that? And then I see on these videos like these 6,000 upvotes, and it's like
oh shit. Oh fuck, man.
Yeah. So yeah. Shit. Everything else. Trying to see if I missed anybody. No, I think that is everybody.
Do you keep you keep Jango Fett? You keep Aquaman's dad as Jango?
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's perfectly fine as Jango Fett. I think it needed to be kind of real straightforward, and I genuinely like the voice that ended up coming out of that for all the Clone Wars stuff and everything. Like, I'm good with the way that went down kind of across the board. Mm-hmm. I wish that Sam Jackson could have been just Sam Jackson.
Yeah, I felt like Mace Windu was kind of a waste.
Like, yeah, he's very buttoned down, and
yeah.
I don't know. Like,
I feel like him playing off of Tim Curry in that confrontation could have brought more out of him. Like,
I could have.
You motherfucker! I'm gonna, like I feel like the two of them would have played off very well against each other.
Yeah,
and that scene would have had a lot more life to it.
Then again, so I've been watching Rebels recently. And
how is it?
It's super good. Like, we just got to the end of the second season, so it's like things are very good, and I'm enjoying it. I don't want to do any spoilers for anybody who hasn't seen it. I know that's probably sounds silly, but I hadn't watched it, so fuck it. I don't want to ruin it for anybody else. But either way, like it reminds me of something very, very, very important. Well, two things. One, three things. One, more double-sided lightsabers. Two, you pick your kyber crystal, but not your lightsaber itself. And if somebody's cooler lightsaber that happens to possibly be double-sided and lets you kind of Mary Poppins your way out of situations and fly, just happens to fall on the ground, you should totally put your crystal inside that lightsaber. Just throwing that idea out there. Just spitball on the wall.
Is it
throw that idea out
the
there.
Inquisitors? Is it the
Yeah, the Inquisitors.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Like one of them just happens to drop their lightsaber, and all I can think is take that. Take it right now. Take it right now. Take it right now. And the last thing and the most important thing is Jedi should fuck. Like, we learn about it in Clone Wars that Obi-Wan fucked. We know that Anakin fucked. If we take the stigma out of it and we just know that Jedi can fuck, cool. Like, I think we're good.
Yeah, because Anakin might not have turned to the dark side because he could have been open with his relationship with Padme. And so
right.
no one else to seduce him because he was seduced.
Right. Well, also, he would have never actually been with Padme because there wouldn't have been that forbidden fruit sexuality going on.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, she wouldn't have settled for the whiny guy if she actually had the ability to have her pick of the other Jedi litter.
Oh, God. And then Padme lives. Oh, and it's so much better. So much better.
Like, the only thing that makes me sad about that future thought process is that we don't get Leia.
Sure. Yeah.
That's really the only loss that I'm calling here. And I know a lot of you are like, what about Luke? What about Luke? Yeah, Jedi should fuck. All of them. They should all be able to openly fuck. We can solve this problem because that's the greatest recruitment for the Sith ever. Hey,
we can fuck.
You know how you can move stuff with your mind? You know how that's real sexy? Yeah. You know how robes look real rad? Yeah. So you know how you can do backflips off of cars and like jump through space and swing a light sword around and be kind of a general badass? Like, imagine a magician and a knight were like the same person, but also in space. You're like, boy, that's pretty fuckable. Yes, it is. Now, because of the weird thing that lets you move things with your mind, you're not allowed to fuck. And you're like, wait, what? And then the guy over there with the Mary Poppins sword who can fly in is like, hey, so the boys and I are going to go fucking blow something up and then totally go fuck some people. Do you want to come? You'd be like, fuck you guys. I'm out of here. Deuces.
Yeah.
Have fun at your temple. Right. Because
you save a lot of Jedi. You save a lot of Jedi lives.
Man, Jedis can have floaty sex.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You can solve logistical problems of that won't work because of gravity. Not today.
Not today, gravity.
That's what I'm saying. You know, fuck it. You can cure ED.
Yeah. Shit, yeah.
Yeah. You know how? Midichlorians. That's how. That's what I'm really here to talk about, Jamie. I'm here to pitch. It was a long form. I'm here to pitch an erectile dysfunction pill based around midichlorians. All right? Now, I know what you're thinking. Brandon, this doesn't make any sense. I know midichlorians don't make any sense. Run with me. It's called the Force. That's right. So if you believe that all of the things around you can give you life energy, then you can spirit bomb that dick and go ahead and raise it up. Be like Palpatine. Dude can raise ships out of the ground and shit. Yeah. Right.
I wonder, so not all Force users end up being Jedi. So I wonder if somewhere on the Outer Rim there's like a strip club or like a whorehouse where it's just
called the Outer Rim.
Yeah,
the Outer Rim.
And it's Force users doing all this wacky weird ass shit.
I'm sure.
God damn, that would be so much fun.
Like, I have to believe. Like, they talked about this in Rebels, that like at one point there were like 10 or 12,000 Jedi. Out of 10 or 12,000, right? What am I thinking of? A large group of really devout people who were going to. So the Boston Archdiocese, right? So imagine if you made all of them laser sword wielding badasses who could float fuck. And then do you think some of them might be like, you know what? Later. I'll see you guys later. Or more importantly, somebody finds out that they're fucking and they get thrown out of the order and they're like, well, may as well do what I know. I could fly around and bounty hunt, and don't get me wrong, that boy howdy looks fun. By the way, what are there, like 4 jobs in the universe?
Yeah.
It's like Sith, Jedi, bounty hunter, and like fodder. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck else anybody else is.
Yeah, I don't know. Or
I have no clue.
Bike mechanic in Coruscant.
Sure. Okay. Why not? But yeah, so like, I don't see why they wouldn't be like, yeah, no, fuck it, I'll be a gigolo.
Yeah. Hashtag let them fuck.
Yeah, like
hashtag let Jedis fuck.
Like genuinely, because you know Jabba's a pimp. There's no question about it.
Yeah. That's
the Hutts are definitely running the sex game.
Yeah.
Like no way around it.
Yeah.
So you got to figure Hutt seasonal Jedi. The old Jedi's like, look, man, we can play this game or we can get down to business. You know that if we are on an agreement, let's find an agreeable fee. You set me up, I deliver, we move on. Right?
Yeah.
And if things get weird, I'll take somebody's arm off. Like, fuck it.
I like this. I like it. Disney would never do it, but it opens it up to a whole lot of more possibilities.
Right, yeah. Well, I mean, in all fairness, they did just do a TV show where a reluctant sewer guy hangs out with a baby Yoda, and they got weird space Nazis. So
it's true. That's true. They could do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah, I mean, and in all fairness, it's definitely not the first time that Disney's dabbled in Nazi content. So fuck it. Oh shit! Oh my god. Yeah, go ahead and get it.
Not all Stormtroopers.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Brandon. Well, I love this new trilogy.
Yeah. Trilogy, by the way, trilogy.
The new trilogy. I give a shit about these characters now. I give a shit about Anakin. I'm sad when he turns and that's all I wanted. That's all I wanted from the prequels. I wanted an Anakin that I could fall in love with because Padme falls in love with, and then to see him go down the wrong path is the ultimate tragedy instead of what we saw, which was an angry shithead become super angry. And I like a Palpatine that can seduce you, so you believe that Palpatine can fuck, which means that Rey has Tim Curry in her somewhere, which is awesome.
I mean, I'm not saying that if weird, like, marionette version of Tim Curry was the one trying to talk Rey into it, it would work. But I'm saying she'd look at him and be like, were you on Muppet Treasure Island? And he'll be like, can we get to the point? It's because that's...
Yeah. God damn. Now I'm going to have to watch the movies again. And in my head, I'm just going to be like, Tim Curry can get it.
I like that you feel the need to watch those movies and think that.
Yeah. Because if you watch them with that context, all the stuff about him like seducing Anakin makes sense. All the stuff about him trying to turn Rey is almost believable. You almost believe that she could fall for it.
It's almost believable. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. So I solved it. You're welcome.
I like it.
That's what I'm doing.
I like it.
Yep.
Brandon Chalmers, where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at that guy Chalmers. Jamie Noguchi, where can they find you?
Instagram as well, Jamie Noguchi. Twitter, Angry Zen Master. I highly recommend against Twitter in general. And then, wherever you find this on YouTube and Facebook and all that kind of stuff and Podbean and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's it. We got it. Now I'm going to watch the prequels with all of these things in my head. And I'm just going to be doing. I'm going to be doing this the entire time. Why didn't they do that? Why didn't they do that? Why didn't
right? Yeah. I'm going to end up getting just random text messages from Jamie over the next 24 hours. Just going,
why didn't they do that?
Right? Yeah, like fucking Ray Liotta would have been way better. I'd be like, I know.
I don't know enough about the technology, but I wonder if you could deep fake all of this. Not only do the facial replacements, but maybe like get the voices. I don't know how you would do that, but
I think you just do a table read. The only problem is I don't know if Tim Curry's able to do that at this point, but
yeah,
we'll have to find someone.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. But yeah, so maybe let's just get a table read going in the meantime.
Yeah.
Jeff Bezos, everybody. I know you listen. So if you could use your bazillions to just pay people and make that happen, that'd be great. Stay safe, stay indoors, kids. Again, I remind you, stop trying to trick God with your hand jobs.
Yeah.
Yep.
All
right, kids.
Yep.
Be good.
Bye.
Be excellent to each other.